Oh, and what's going on, everybody? So, I, this not on purpose. It's not on purpose, I promise. But basically, what's been happening is these last few weeks is since we come back with the live stream. Like I said, they did it 1 week, took a week off, did 1 week, took another week off. That's because I ended up going out of town last week, and I didn't plan on going out of town, but it was a cheap trip. It wasn't free, but it was cheap. And it was just like, you on YOLO. Because you just never know, you know what I mean? And there's more sicknesses they saying that's trying to brew up. So my logic was, if something gonna happen, let me go ahead and go now in case they try to do another BS and do like another lockdown or something. I pray they don't. But if they did, I'm like, let me get some more fun out the way. And we starting off bad already because a gnat that fell in my water. So that's crazy. But we got a lot of stuff we're gonna talk about today. I'm pretty excited about them. I have another great guest today that I'm gonna introduce, and then we're gonna go from there. All right. So let me go ahead and introduce him and let's get started. My boy, what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on, man? Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So tell the people, obviously they can see it on live and on like YouTube and stuff, but this is gonna be an audio too. So tell the people what's your name, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
Lamar Wilson. Um, I am an educational leader. So my role into the education world is going to schools, working with the teachers, the staff, parents, getting kids involved, finding out, the statistics of bad grades, good grades, the directions of kids of, when they take their survey of, hey, what's the next step for you? I'm working hand in hand with them. And that all started just from my background of, just not finishing high school. I was four credits away from it, and I just dropped out. So I just stayed back. I just stayed, just stayed in it, for the last 20 plus years, just keeping my ear to just learning and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm from Queens, New York, Storia. But I'm down here in Florida because I'm tired of the cold.
No, for
Can't do
sure.
that. Yeah.
No, for sure. That's how I feel with me because I live in Houston, but I went to school out here and just stayed.
Hmm.
So okay, nice little background going on. So we got a lot of stuff with that background. We definitely gonna be unpacking a bunch of stuff. Me, him as the educational leader, me as an ex-teacher. So we're gonna be unpacking some stuff today and just kind of get into some things because I really have a interesting take on all of these things. So the first one we're going to talk about is everybody's favorite president, Donald Trump. And you're probably thinking, what did he do now? So apparently, that man got some sneakers. Let's look
Oh
at them
yeah,
if you haven't seen them already.
yeah.
I just want to tell you, I've wanted to do this for a long time. I have some incredible people that work with me on things, and they came up with this. And this is something I've been talking about for 12 years, 13 years. And I think it's going to be a big success. That's the real deal. That's the real deal. What's the most important thing? To go out and vote, right? We have to go out and vote. We got to get young people out to vote. And you're going to vote, and we're going to turn this thing around. This country's not doing so well. We're going to turn this country around fast. We're going to turn it around fast. And we're going to remember the young people, and we're going to remember SneakerCon. You know that. It's a slightly different audience than I'm used to, but I love this audience. And go out, have a good time. We love you all. Thank you very much.
All right. So let's get into the first segment with all of this, which is what does this have to do with mental health? So um I what I'm gonna say is I feel as though he mental health wise, I think that was one that was funny.
Yeah.
Two, I feel like people take him too seriously. I feel like he wants to be the butt of the joke. And I'm not
Yeah,
saying that he didn't do those sneakers on purpose. He might really be like, I want some people to wear my shoes. I don't know. But
right.
he trying to get the young people, and he know young people are obsessed with shoes. So from that angle, to me, that was smart. Excuse me. But I'll let you say what you guys said, and I'm gonna get back to it.
I think it's a great market because he came out last time with the hat. He made a statement. So anybody that ever wear a red and white hat, first thing you think about is so now he has these sneakers. And the way our mentality is that we're gonna buy these sneakers because he's a first president with them. So now do we really buy into that? And or buy a sneaker and be like, I'm gonna sell these sneakers for $1,000. These gonna be the new Yeezys.
Right.
Or are we saying, hey, listen, you want to do sneakers, that's cool, but that doesn't help this this problem we have in this country. So
Right.
that's cool. Now you got people talking. Now it's either two ways it's gonna go. Either you buy these sneakers and you look like a clown out there, or you buy these sneakers and you treat them like Yeezys. Now he want to sit back and be like, I want to know what color is gonna buy my sneakers. That's what it is. So we got to play it smart and say, all right, honestly, are you buying them to flip them, or are you actually buying them because you like them? Do you really like them? You know, because if he say, oh, now, because he's going to run those numbers, he's a number guy. So he's like, all right, I put these out this day. In the last 6 months, the majority of people that bought them was who? 40% white, black, whatever the, you know, and then he's going to know right there where my votes are at, you know? So he's like, oh, okay, I see who's supporting me. So he got a good team behind him to come out with this campaign and say, you did the hat. You can't go back and do another hat. It don't work. You can't
Yeah.
come out with a shirt. You can't come out with jeans. So we're gonna come out with sneakers. And then he threw in SneakerCon. Come on, man.
So let's get into the first part, which is WWID, which is what would I do in this situation. So in this case, we have to always applaud Donald Trump because before he was a president, he was a businessman first. Because a lot of these presidents, they be businessmen by default. That was him. So I think that, like you all, everything you say, I agree with. One, he's smart, whether you love him or hate him. Two, he taking advantage of the fact that he knows that this is a young audience. He knows that, you hate to sound cheesy, whatever, but young people are, the future. We are the world, all that good stuff, right? So he know
Right.
that if he want the black vote, because he knows that black people are upset with Biden because Biden, they had people and reality stars and celebrities on Instagram crying when Joe Biden was first running, talking about yes we
Hmm.
can, and then he hit y'all with the okey doke. And when
You're
people
right.
tried to warn y'all that was gonna happen, nobody believed. So now that y'all see y'all got hit with the okey doke, y'all, some people are saying, "Oh, y'all stupid for going back to Trump." Some people are saying y'all stupid for staying with Biden. But either
Right.
way, I just want to let you know, like Cat Williams said, I'm going to reiterate what the legend Cat Williams said. The state of our country is just is the worst it's ever been. It's always been bad, but it's even worse. And it's like you either go back to your ex or the ex before. It's a lose lose
Yeah.
either way. So you might as well pick.
Exactly.
You
You
might
might
as
as
well pick
well.
the one that's best for you, and at least with Trump, you're gonna run it up. Now,
Right.
this is what I would say in this situation. Um, I would not buy his shoes, and I like shoes. I would not buy them. I like that idea, which I didn't even think about, where you said people will buy them and flip them, and that's smart because there's gonna be a lot of money, and I'm sure some sneakerheads are gonna get them. These YouTube sneakerheads gonna get them and like do the break them down and stuff, and like look at them. And I'm gonna watch the video just because I want to see.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm a little nosy, so I want to see. But I would not buy the shoes. So in this situation, situation, I would not support his shoes. But what I will say is I do support him being the businessman that he is. And if anything, well, I'll say that for the last segment in this because I don't want to get ahead of myself. So then the next segment, which is WWJD, which is what would Jesus do? Hey, Blessing, I see you. How you doing? So, and in this case, ethically and morally correct thing to do with his shoe, honestly, is to go to people who like shoes. He's doing that right now the right way. Now, as far as a consumer, people would say it probably wouldn't be the best thing to buy since again he is the president and he has had his racist rants and he's a bigot and all these things, which again I feel like with a lot of these people that are on these platforms, i.e. him, y'all don't want to hear it, Sukiana, and quite a few other people. I feel as though a lot of that stuff they lean into because that's what y'all expect from them. So a lot of it is really
Hmm.
just a market campaign. That's all it is. It's really all it is. And people don't
Right.
want to hear that, but that's what it is. I mean, you can still not agree, but it is. And so I think that in this situation, it wouldn't be ethically or morally correct to buy his shoes. Me, that's just me. What's your take on that?
I would say this though: if you don't buy his shoes, buy it because you're a fan of that style, that color. That's your
Okay,
vibe.
yeah,
Because if Jordan put those same exact sneakers out, oh, it'd be no problem.
yeah,
So I'm not trying to be on one side. To be honest, that's not my style of sneaker. I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers, but seeing them, I truly, if it came from Jordan, if it came from LeBron, Kevin Durant, anybody, that's just not my style of sneaker. Now, if he actually came out with a nice sneaker that fit my vibe, oh yeah, I'll probably get him, right?
yeah.
But that's how I'm basing it on. I think that's how you should base it on. And don't worry about what somebody's gonna say. Oh, you support Trump. No, I like these are my sneakers I like, you know? That's me. But don't
Yeah.
go in there saying, I'm not buying, I like them, but just because he made them, I don't want to buy them. And that's where we mess up at. Because we're basing on that person. Because for all that, we can really point the finger with Jordan. He did some dirt. You know, he did some dirt. So let's not do that. But so let's, you know, what he's doing is funny, but base your decision on those sneakers. And if you want to spend the money, I don't know how much they are, on your preference. Not, I'm not supporting them, but in the back of your mind, oh, those are fire. I got the fire outfit for that. I would kill them with those sneakers. But you like, nah, because if I come outside, they're gonna crucify me. They're gonna get me, and I don't think we should move like that.
For sure, which is a nice transition to the final segment in this topic, which is WSMD. What should men do? So, picking back off what you said, I agree wholeheartedly. If that's what you like, do it. As a man, you should never. Of course, we get self esteem and things like that, but the goal as a man should always be to do what you want to do and do what Don't do it because everybody else doing it. So if you like them and you want to wear them and you support them, cool. Because there's people who support Trump on the low, and they'll get in
Oh,
these rooms and be trying to be petty and blessing you funny. She said just because he made them, I don't want to buy them. Jordan is innocent. Everyone's mad at the black man. Power to the people. She said, show not rocking with the American flag and T. Now, what I will say is though, with that, and we ain't gonna get too much off topic, and because if you want a dissertation, we can get into that. But Jordan and Dude did his stuff too. You can look it up. We ain't getting into that. I'm not here to bash none of them. I'm just calling it what it is. But what I will say though is with this situation, it's people who support Trump behind closed doors, and then
yep.
like you said, they over here lusting after them shoes, but they ain't gonna get them because now you on Amazon and now you at Shoe Carnival trying to find something that's close to it, but because you don't want them, or you on Nike ID trying to recreate their shoes. So
Exactly.
I
Sketch
say
is gonna get
do what.
them.
So I say do what you want to do in that situation. I also say that as far as business, he is smart from the aspect of going to a different market. When you it's like it's like, what is it like? I remember it was so long ago, but it was like, I remember who was it? It was a talk show host. They said that they went on Dancing with the Stars. They said they didn't care about Dancing with the Stars. You don't go on that show to dance. But they said they went on the show for the sake of their show was new, and it was like, I'm gonna go on this show and it's gonna put me in front of a new market. And they said it did wonders for the show. So if you're doing something for like you're trying to get a new market and get new eyes on you, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Even me as a podcaster, like, I've seen people get on like Big Brother and those different reality shows, and this ain't like back in the day with like, Real World, Flavor Love, and all those shows where after the show over, if you're not capitalizing off of that 15 minutes of
Yep.
fame, it's over. Now you on them shows with these big platforms, your platform then went up permanently. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Now it's
Yep.
up to you to capitalize off of it, but it's so much you can do with that. And so I would just say he does a good job of capitalizing off a new market and all that good stuff. And then, of course, like you said, um, a man should do what he wants to do, not because of he's pressured to or somebody tries to get him not to do because it don't look good to them or he not following the crowd. All
Right.
right, now all right, so now let's move into the next topic today. We're talking about Benzino. So anybody knows I'm a fan of Drink Champs, and Benzino was on Drink Champs crying about Eminem. I feel like somebody said they need to start drinking smoothies on their show because people, it's the purpose of the show. People get on there just crying and boohooing, but I mean, you ask them right questions, you're in the heat of the moment, the liquor licking, it only makes sense. So now let's go ahead and look at this clip from Benzino crying. It's not too long, and the clip was broken down from Diverse Mentality. So we're not gonna watch the whole clip, but we are gonna watch just his breakdown, and then of course I'm gonna get into more into it, and I'm sure some people in the comments got some more they could say as well.
Entertaining, but he doesn't. Most of the time, he doesn't really feel that way. So, Benzino lets out his feelings. I'm gonna let you guys watch the clip, and then I'm gonna talk about more. What I think about it.
Y'all don't understand. Hip hop brought us together. I don't hate Eminem because of his color. I don't hate you people. I don't fucking hate it. 20. I've been misunderstood my whole life. My mother's gone. She loved me. I'm not a bad person. I love hip hop. Hip hop isn't black against white. All my niggas are dead. I've been shot a few times. They're in jail. Up, we're in a society that white America don't give a fuck about us, and hip hop saved us. Hip hop made white people believe that we was okay, that black people was okay. Hip hop brought white people to us. And the powers that be didn't want that. They wanted Eminem they wanted white people to buy it to Eminem. Eminem didn't have nothing to do with that. He was just using it. He didn't have nothing to do with that. Come on, Jay-Z's speech. Jay-Z, you're my fucking idol. One of my idols. You speaking up for Beyonce, but speaking up for niggas, the Grammys, these never fucking white people don't care about us. Come on, man. I'm tired of 22 years. I don't got nothing against Eminem. I got nothing against Eminem. They can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to talk about it no more. For 22 years, every time I do an interview, they ask me about Eminem. The f you want me to do? My daughter came into the industry figuring that, hey, I gotta be cool with Eminem because everybody's against my dad. You think this shit is cool? Oh, man. We're failing as a people. All me and Eminem gotta do is sit down and talk with each other. Let's sit down and talk. Let's battle. Let's do whatever. But let's at least face to face meet each other.
Whoa. All right.
Man.
That was a lot.
Man. Man.
That was a lot. Okay. So before because I see you itching. So let's get into the first part, which is what does this have to do with mental health? I'll let you start this one.
A lot. Not even color, just as a man that he's been holding. You can you can, I mean, the way he's going about it. I mean, what, a week, two ago, you had like 3, 4 diss songs out, you know, and because again, he's doing what he thinks he should do, not what he wants to do. Now he's like, yo, what am I doing? I'm tearing down hip hop. This guy for the last 20 years has been building and keeping hip hop going. Let's not let's not sugarcoat that. Eminem has been holding hip hop down in so many ways to keep it going. And he doesn't put out as much as we would love him to, but to see him, he's crying and he's asking for help, and he's all this been sitting there, and he's just, I'm tired. I'm tired. I can't do this no more. I don't want to beef with you. I want us to come together. He respects him, and whatever happened in the past, the past. And I think it's when platforms open up those conversations to him, because you see an interview with Benzino, they're gonna talk about Eminem, right? Because what else could you talk about? Not to be funny, you see an interview with Ja Rule, they're gonna talk about 50 Cent. What is Ja Rule doing? You see, and it sucks because that's now what your life is on. That's pretty much what your life is for what it's based on. It's stamped. Benzino is, you hear Benzino, you hear Eminem. And for him to cry and break down, and it don't make him soft. It don't make him soft because I internally I'm killing myself. I'm every day. Externally, yeah, 2 weeks ago, yeah, I'm the man. I killed Eminem. Yeah, he's canceled. But then in turn, he turned the camera off. I'm in crying. What am I doing? Like, Eminem's the reason why my daughter is doing music and all this stuff and everything. Like, come on. So for him to go on Drink Champs, I don't think it was staged. I don't think it was something that he had planned. I think it was the conversations were happening, the questions happening, and it was already building up. And he got to the right person to really have that vulnerable moment, because he was talking before. I saw an interview where he was on Adam 22. He wasn't crying. He was not crying. He was on Instagram. He wasn't crying, but he got around a value person. However you feel about Noriega, whatever. I'm from Queens. I live 15 minutes from Noriega. My brother was at Noriega's wedding. He came to my house, many years ago. What I'm saying is that Benzino got around the right person that he could be vulnerable with. A lot of us don't want to be vulnerable because we don't want to look like punks.
Yeah.
We don't want to look soft. We don't want that title. We don't want somebody to throw that back in our face. And that's the problem. We got to be comfortable. I'm not saying with everybody, but we do got to be comfortable in that space to let out that mental, that little person that's beating us and triggering us to think this way, move this way, react this way. And then when we're by ourselves or we're around the right people, we break down. So I applaud him for crying and pointing, and I pray that Eminem do watch it and say, "Yo, I'll wave the white flag. I'll wave the white flag." And I pray that what Benzino did, he means it. I hope it's not something as a setup. And I don't think that. I think the way those tears was coming, I don't think it was just a liquor. I think it was a man hurting for 20 years of what he lost. And what he could have built so much stuff, but he just, because of pride and everything else, and it came out.
For sure. For sure. Okay, so I'm gonna give my take. So WWID, what would I do in this situation? First of all, if I did go on Drink Champs, I would be drinking like Kanye did. If anybody peeped and somebody actually called it out, I didn't see it till they called it out. He was sipping, but he was acting like he was sipping and he wasn't drinking that much. He did that the entire interview. But he gonna say whatever anyway. He could say it just woke up out the bed, sober, high. It don't matter. He gonna say whatever. But I think that we can see again the liquor won, and although it was extremely emotional and extremely, not gonna say over the top. It was dramatic, but it wasn't. When I say dramatic, I don't mean in a bad way. I mean it just is what it was,
Mm.
and I think that it was clearly needed. Like he probably went home, probably was like, "Dang, He probably was embarrassed, but then on the other hand, he probably like, you know what? That's gonna help somebody because it's a man that was crying like that somewhere. It's a man crying like that
Right,
somewhere,
right, right,
and
right.
it kind of piggybacking off of what Shaq said when he was just like, "Don't open up to a woman because they're gonna throw it in your face." This is what you were saying. A lot of times people are like, "I'm gonna just keep it to myself," because if most men did cry like that, and I tell people all the time, there's a difference between crying and whining. There's a big
Mm.
difference.
There you go. There you
And
go.
that was a cry. That was
Right,
and he almost like he was dying on the inside. It was that bad. And of course, when he brought up
right.
his daughter, I'm sure he's hurt by that because of their public feud. Because I feel like it's bad, and it was a great segue to the next topic. But um, when you have a public feud with a family member, I feel like that's just the worst thing. Could you imagine having a public feud with one of your kids?
Yeah. Oh, Master P and Romeo. I was like, oh, I said, wow, and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. If I had an issue with you and I have your phone number, I'm gonna shoot you a text because maybe my pride at that moment is not gonna allow me to call you because I'm like, you're not gonna pick up. I'll shoot you a voice note, you know. But I don't know what it is now. Everything got to be put on a platform.
Yeah, I think that's the issue too. So WWJD, what would Jesus do in this situation? Well, first of all, just got to throw out there that if he was on the podcast, he wouldn't be drinking. He wouldn't be drunk. But what I will say is, I think in situations like this, it's best to be as communicated. There's a time and a place to say certain things. We all know that. But if you communicate most of the time, because with his situation, I feel like Benzino been speaking on it, but he kind of been running from a lot of those conversations too. So I feel as though when you speak on certain things and don't wait till the last minute, I think that it's best that you kind of. I think that's what happens. It was an explosion. It's like a bottle of soda. You shake it up,
Hmm.
and that's kind of what happened. Versus you kind of slowly kind of reveal these things. So I think honestly, as a people, one, if it was me, put yourself in the shoes. If it was me, if it was me in that situation, I would definitely feel away. As far as I would feel embarrassed at first, I know I would. Even
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
justified, I would still feel embarrassed. I could be at a funeral of a parent, and if they passed away and I boohoo cry like that, and then people saw me, I would still be embarrassed. And
yeah.
maybe that's an error in me. Um, but I think that hopefully people reaching out to him, and maybe as a people, we don't be realizing the power of social media, especially when we be trolling and we
Hmm.
think we just taking a comment, not realizing, like, dang, like this could they might not have responded to, but they saw your comment. But I feel like you can flip that too, and it's the same way. Maybe somebody can send him like a little DM or something, and or comment on his story and just let him know, like, look, brother, man, you know, I see know what you're going through. I'm going through the same thing. Because a lot of times it's they talk about like testimonies and stuff, and a lot of times we don't want to tell our stories, but our stories be freeing somebody because again, it's all about relatability. And if people can relate to that, he's not the only person that had a rap or a feud. I ain't gonna just say rap beef because we all ain't had that, but we done all had
Right.
a feud issue with a family member that you
Right.
really want to reconcile that you can't, and or it's not working as of now. So I think that it's just about having grace for him in that situation because it could easily be you, and I think sometimes people forget that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that, and I think it was heartfelt. It was very heartfelt. I think I think maybe Eminem's can't. Somebody's gonna get it to Eminem. And I mean, and really, it's how Eminem wants to take it from there. You know, so to me, I think it's a. I don't. I grew up thinking marriage counseling and therapy was taboo. Like it was the worst. Like that. No, there's something wrong. And as I got older and I realized about mental health and things that happen, being at this age, still dealing with the stuff that happened when I was a teenager, I think that made me realize like marriage counseling and therapy and talking it out and stuff like that, that stuff is healthy. It's the total opposite of So I think that's, where he was at. Or these 20 plus years, he just thought this was the way until he realized, like, yo, I got it completely wrong. And he just let it out. That was it. I mean, it wasn't like he was smoking because the I don't know what it was. I don't know, black and mild saying it wasn't even lit. So yeah, he's probably drinking. But again, what they say when somebody say something while they're drunk, they mean it. Sober thoughts or
Sober
something like that.
mind, drunk mind tells sober, drunk mouth tells sober thoughts, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I think it's coming from a place of truth. I truly do.
No, for sure. It definitely is coming from the truth. All right, so let's get into the last segment with this, which is WSMD, which is what should men do in this situation. I think that if we speak from the angle of pre the breakdown, I think the best thing would have been to do to just try to reach out, try to make it right. That's of course always. Of course, sometimes the other party isn't receptive. But in the case of you already had your breakdown, because men have breakdowns too. If he would have had his breakdown, you just kind of mourn, let yourself deal with it, and then just let it go. Because I'm pretty sure after that cry like that, he probably felt 100 times better. He probably
Oh
felt like
yeah.
he sat on the toilet for like 10 days. So I think that in that situation, if a breakdown does come about, and you gotta, you just gotta move forward from there. And I think that in all cases with situations like this, we should, again, like I keep saying, I'm gonna keep saying it, show grace to these people. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll keep it 100. Sometimes if somebody was to break down crying in front of me, I wouldn't like shun them. But sometimes my body language, I'm very awkward, and people take that as like a bad, like I'm being rude, but sometimes it's just awkwardness. And I'll be like, I
Hmm.
saw a meme of Tom from Tom and Jerry, and it was like when somebody break out crying, and it said, "You want some water?" Like I would have been happy if I was on Drink Champs and the camera wasn't on me, because I just would have been like, you know, I don't want to pet you, you're not a dog. So I'd have been like, what do I
Right.
do? So,
Right.
what would your take be in a situation where it's a little different as being an ex-teacher with kids versus grown
Yeah.
folks? So,
Right.
what would your take be for in a situation like that if you are a grown man and you see another grown man do that?
I had that happen. I had that. I was I was actually doing a speaking engagement and I was telling my story and I kept seeing for something you could feel somebody like watching you, like they are locked in. And and after guys just talking and he's like, he started talking about the stuff he went through and just started crying. And I was just like that. I'm like, I mean, this guy's crying, like boy, like he couldn't even talk. And I just grabbed him. And I could feel him like
Yeah.
like he got it out. Like it was just been sitting there. And you know, I think that's where it brings me closer to what I do, helping young men, older men get their GED, kids, the next step. When someone is crying, it's something it's that battle they've been fighting for so long. Sometimes they win it, sometimes they lose it, sometimes it's just out of control. So I think that happening when someone's crying and or someone's just being open, sometimes you might not just have the answer. I realize that. I don't have the answer, but what I do have is my presence. I done sat there sometimes and like, Just let them talk. Because sometimes people getting all this out, they figure out the answer right there. You just gotta
Right.
be there. I learned that. I used to, because we men, we problem fixers. We want to fix everything, and then we realize, sometimes we just need to shut up and just
Yep.
listen and be there. And I had to learn that the hard way. And seeing, I wasn't used to that. I seen men cry. I seen that stuff. People die or something happened. I seen that. But when someone's telling their story that they never met you, they don't know you from a hole in the wall, but
Yeah.
you connect with them, and that moment they just like, I can't do it. They want savior, and I think that's important. And you should be able to. I think every man should find that one person or group of men that's living the right way, doing the right things. They're on the right path, and connect with them. You
Yeah.
can't do this life by yourself. You can't. You cannot do this life by yourself. It's impossible. I'm in a men's group, 6 a.m. in the morning. Every morning, I'm in a men's group with men I have never met. But we share so much because I knew I can't do this by myself. And
Right.
it's okay to cry. It don't make you a punk. You're not a punk because you cry. You're a man because you're able to do that.
Right. For sure. Good stuff. All right. So now we are finally moving to the last segment of the day, which is, it's funny because it's kind of, everything kind of just flowed. And we saw Benzino break down like he did. We know that he has the issue with his daughter. And so a family feud online, and they're estranged. So this is synonymous with everyone's favorite comedian, Monique, who had just left Club Shay Shay. She lit it up after Cat Williams lit it up. And Club Shay Shay is becoming one of the best interviewers out. And she apparently was on stage, and she made some comments about her son. For those that don't know, I think she has 3 kids, but her oldest son, their relationship is estranged.
Mm,
And he said in several videos, and we ain't got time for all that, but he said in several videos of how she wasn't a good mother, and how she left him, which she said in interviews before, like, this
mm,
group, she basically learned from the mistake with the first one, because she said when she went out chasing Hollywood dreams and where it got her. So she like, I'm not doing that with, my other ones. So after his rants, and they didn't went viral, she's on stage, she was on stage saying F Gail King and Oprah and Tyler Perry. But now apparently she's saying F her son too.
yeah.
So let's look at the clip and y'all tell me what y'all think. Let's do it.
Let's listen. I apologize if I've done something wrong, but I ain't no bitch that's gonna back up from a motherfucking problem. I'm gonna walk straight to that motherfucker and I'm gonna deal with that shit. So today I'm coming to the airport in Newark, New Jersey. It's the realest thing I've ever met from Newark, New Jersey. I'm coming to that motherfucking airport and I've been just seeing this motherfucking TikTok of my goddamn son. Had I known that they were going to go TikTok the day I brought him home.
Congrats, Carol. Now you're really going to have to get those new dentures.
I'm going to let y'all take that one. And when you see your child that you for that nigga, not another, it was me. And you see your motherfucking child go on a goddamn internet and tell people all the fuck that you're not. And you supposed to take that shit in stride. And I'm taking that shit in stride. And I'm walking through the motherfucking Newark airport, and this elderly woman comes up to me. She said, Monique. I said, ma'am. Because I'm a respectful bitch, baby. I'm a respect this shit. She said, let me talk to you for a minute. So I had prepared myself for this old woman to tell me how fucked up I was. I prepared myself to be respectful, but to check up if I had to. I prepared myself to listen. She said, listen, my grandbaby called me and told me to watch this goddamn TikTok of your son. And I watched that shit. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I want to tell you something. I said, ma'am. She said, fuck that nigga. And when the elderly people tell you fuck that nigga, you ain't fuck that nigga. She said, you been taking care of that nigga all his motherfucking life. She said, Monique, I'm 80 years old and I got a son 60 years old. And every time that don't get what he want, he still tell me how fucked up I was when he was 10 years old. That
Okay, so basically,
All right. So let's get into the first part, which is what does this have to do with mental health? So I'll start this one off. All right. So basically, they're strange. We kind of we prefaced that before getting into the clip. And what I will say, we're going to do grows and glows of the comedy skit, right? So we're going to start with the glows first. The glows is, as somebody who is also pretty funny, I like the fact that she's discussing something, although it's kind of like the podcast I do, taking serious situations and adding humor to it. Although this is not a funny situation, that is also for funny people a coping mechanism. So it's clear she is upset, but sometimes it's like I have to deal with this and take it for what it is, and I got to make a joke about it. You know, we just left New Orleans, me and my friends, and I named the group chat "No Job New Orleans," and because it was four of us going, one of us had just quit, the other one got fired, and then me, I ain't had a regular job since last May, so I've been working full time for self. And it's been challenging at times, you know. But I made the joke. I hit up my one homeboy, and I said, "What you doing?" I said, "Yeah, no, you ain't doing nothing. I know you ain't got no job." And so obviously that is terrible, right? But it's one of those things where you really have to laugh at it because it's life, and there's nothing you can do about certain things. He couldn't control getting fired. You know what I mean? And it's similar to this situation with Monique. I'm sure she does not want this, but it's like I gotta cope with it in some way. So it's clear now. We usually don't talk about women situations and women topics, you know, featuring women and starring women on this segment because it's dedicated to men. But we got to also speak from the angle of her son, who is clearly suffering. Now, we're not going to say that, and we all know in most cases, a lot of times it'd be wrong on both sides in some cases. But at the same time, I still feel like she is the parent. And I feel like the generation she comes from kind of does still feel like at least you had a mama, or at least you had this, or at least you had that. So I think sometimes it can kind of be like, you know. So what's your take on that?
I think, I agree with you. I think that what you know, the direction of course, she's mad. You know what she's seeing, and now people got to feel like they can approach her about it. But I still don't think it's right. At the end of the day, like you messed up, and I did see her interview, and she apologized, and she said you can't just say I'm sorry, move on. She's like you got to really dig deep and break that all down. But he's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt. Imagine you being, you're her first kid, and you got pushed to the side for strangers, and now you're this legend, and the three kids come behind, and now they get their mother. They get to experience all the stuff that you had to do that with your aunt. He hurt. So is it the best way to do is go jump on a social media platform and vent? That's what's trending. That's that's what's trending right now. You know, I pray my sons never do that. That go on a platform just to get my attention. I just don't. Maybe he has been reaching out, and maybe she's just like we've been so distant apart from each other. I want to talk to you. Oh, you don't? All right, I'm gonna find another way. And now look. So it's really it's a it's a emotional it's emotional battle right now. You know, he's they're both emotionally hurt. You know,
Right.
and I think what she's doing it. She's emotionally hurt for what she's seen that it went to TikTok. He's emotionally hurt because he wasn't raised with a mother, but he's watching
Right.
other his siblings be raised by a mother. And that hurts.
Exactly. All right, so now let's get into the next segment, which is what would I do in this situation? So obviously, so somebody in the comments on Instagram says, I hate that black mothers think they're above reproach and refuse to take accountability for the trauma that they cause. So I agree. A lot of times, I think,
Yeah,
unfortunately, in the black community, I ain't gonna just leave it to black community. A lot of parents in general, they feel as though like, oh, I raised you, you good. You know what I'm saying? You alive, you had a roof over your head, all that stuff, so you good. And and then she just made a comment and said she's embarrassed. That's why she said that she is embarrassed. She definitely is
hmm
embarrassed.
yeah,
Um, because it and for her to she posted the what's the word I'm looking for, the receipts of the text messages
hmm
that was exchanged between the two. She was like, I've reached out, y'all see it here. And for him to go viral and say, hey, I'm Monique's son, in that case, I don't think I would do that. I was just filming a podcast a few days ago, and they talked
hmm
about I forgot who we was talking about. We was talking about somebody and how they brought their dad on the podcast, and they basically went in on their dad on the podcast, like you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and you could tell the dad was blindsided. So I think that in this case, I think that she or he should. I don't believe he should have went to social media, but maybe he felt like too. No one else is listening. Monique has
right,
stated several times a family is messed off, so it's like
yeah,
I can't go nowhere. I don't know if he is in therapy or not, or has been. So it's like I'm gonna do this to get her attention, and it's unfortunate because I hate to get into the whole timing thing because a lot of times when people like we think of like people with the situation with R. Kelly and we think of some of these other ones, and it's like, why are y'all saying something now? And it's like,
right,
you know what I
right,
mean? So you could throw that in there, that monkey wrench in there too, because it's like in her situation, you just seen your mama go viral and be praised and loved on Club Shay Shay. Now all of a sudden you coming up with this video, and now I don't know if the video was already existed and it went viral. I don't think so. I think he made
right.
it. Oh, he made it afterwards. He made it afterwards.
I think he made it after. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it is kind of just like I'm not saying you're doing it for clout, but we can't admit, and even in situations where I've done stuff and it looked bad, and the timing was bad, even though it wasn't on that, I can admit like it is bad timing. So maybe it was just bad timing. I don't know, but no matter what it is, he's still hurt, and I hope that they could get past that. That's my
yeah.
hope.
Me too. Me too.
So let's move into WWJD, which is obviously we know what would Jesus do in this situation. So obviously forgiveness is a real thing. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's forgiveness on both parts. What I would like to see, well, I lie. I don't want to see it. I want them to go to like therapy together or something. I think
Yeah.
that would be good. Not with the daddy. He don't need to go because to my understanding, that's not his child. So, and
Oh,
that's
it's
something
not.
too. No. And so that's something
Oh,
too that I would, make me feel away because it's like that's like because that was her best friend before that was her husband because that was her third
mm,
husband.
mm,
So I would feel away if my stepdad was online saying something about me with my mama and she just sitting there next to him. That would just that look alone would make me,
yeah, yeah,
So I think they just need to go to therapy alone and discuss this alone with a mutual party that don't nobody know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
because I saw some today, somebody was being passive aggressive and they was apologized to the person, and the person responded back and said, well, this apology is for you. But in reality, people just petty, man.
God.
But what I can say is there needs to be some type of apologies going on. And like I said, even if they don't take it, even if it's just for him, just to, get some stuff out, because it still leaves some stuff there. I don't know if, like you mentioned earlier, it's funny how these episodes go along when you talk about that hug. I don't know if that's what he need, just a big
Yeah.
hug and just a big,
Right.
I don't know, but it's definitely something to think about for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something where you you got to have that conversation. Like you said, it got to be just them two, and just let it all out. Just let it all out. With someone that don't know them, at the end of the day, when they leave, that person's going food shopping, going with the kid. You know, there's just two clients in their office, but it's important. It's definitely important. At this point now, they got to be something. They got to come together to.
For sure. And then let's get into the last segment, which is WSMD. What should men do? Now, it sounds like, and I say this with love because it's not a diss. It sounds like he's a motherless child, right? And so now since he was a motherless child, he gets on social media to cry out because maybe he feels like this is the only way I can reach out to you, even though she claims that they've been texting. What I really want us as men in general to really stop going to social media about everything, really as a people, but especially as a man, just because I'm in the stage of my life. I've been like this for the last few years where if I'm gonna delete it, I don't even want to post it.
Mm,
So if I'm gonna post something, I don't need to be posting, and it need to stay up the full 24 hours. Then don't post and delete it.
hmm
But that's just where I'm at with it. So I want people to take that. It's such a simple method or theory, you could say, but take into consideration, would I want this being up for 24 hours? And then if
Yeah.
you wouldn't, then don't even post it. Now with him, he probably did, but I will like that because again, he's the child, he's not the man. But if in the case of the Benzinos or any other man, if you were a motherless child, don't recreate that with your kids.
Right.
Don't
Right.
recreate that with your kids, and you know
You
that's just
got
something
to
to think
break
about.
it. He, I would say, he could break the generational curse. I don't know what happened, his personal life. I don't know, if he has kids or anything, but I think for him to get free, he should say what he needs to say, whether that's on a voice note, well, however he wants to put it, write a letter. I don't know, but he needs to free himself, and however she wants to take it, fine. But he needs to make sure he's good so he can move on. So he's not sitting there and on TikTok or wherever he feels like I'm gonna get this out one time and one time only, and that's it. And I'm gonna move on with my life. I do have a mother. She's successful. She had a goal, but just so happened she got pregnant. It was either my son and work a 9 to 5, or put my son with my sister and I go provide for him like he would never imagine, you know. And some people are right. I gave you the life that a lot of kids don't have, but then you can't buy your kids. You can't buy them. You can't just. I can't spend time with you, but I could take you on vacation. But while we're on vacation, I could. I'm working, so it's not a vacation. It's a business trip. so,
Right.
so I think they really. I think as a man, I think he needs to let it out. However he wants to let it out, as long as it's not violent, and that's where it stays. Leave it on the wall. Put it on the wall. Don't look at it no more. Don't come back to it. Don't check on it. Don't do nothing, and just move on. And I've been doing that. I've been doing that for a while too. I give it to God. I don't even go back to it. That's it.
Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, so to end off, I think that like I said, maybe he'll write a book or something, maybe he'll start a podcast, who knows. But it's been a great conversation. I'm excited for this week. For those that don't know, this is the first week of me going to recap old episodes leading up into season 8. So we're doing that from this week on. And I'll be reposting different like 5 to 15-minute clips each day of the week of the episode. This week we're recapping one of my favorite and actually the last episode of the season of season 7, which was As a Man, Why Do You Have an OnlyFans Account? And that features my boy Phenom. We got into the nitty gritty of that episode. Now he does not have an OnlyFans account, just throwing it out there. But we just talked about that. And I just have a lot of questions, and I had a lot of questions, and I still have a lot of questions. But go tap into that if you haven't already. So anything you want to say before we head on out tonight? This has been again a great conversation.
Man, just thank you for having me. I love I love the platform, and I think what I would tell men is to really get yourself around some valuable men that's doing some great things, and just small steps. Like you need to rest at times. Rest is not a reward or you earn rest. No, you need to rest mentally, then go rest. And I promise you, when you rested, you could think straight, you could move better. You making better decisions, but you got to take care of yourself first.
For sure, for sure. So anyway, as we close out, the people that's on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And in the words of Monique, I love us for real.